You've been working in the ERP space for a long time, for years actually, and with Cegeka, I know that you've been looking into this opportunity of, standard functionality from Microsoft is great, but there is a small gap maybe towards the requirements that we see from the industry. And I know that you have been investing heavily in Cegeka and developing ISVs modules to support that. Can you elaborate maybe, Dominic, a little bit? What's the story here? What is the gap that you're trying to address? What is it Cegeka wants to achieve with building these ISVs for the industry?
Thanks for the question, Klaus, and the introduction. Well, when I've been talking to our customers in pharma and life science industry, all of these customers asked me, Dominic, okay, how will Cegeka allow me to transition to the cloud in a kind of fully connected way, but most of all in an always compliant environment? And since it is crucial to this type of industry, we knew that Dynamics 365 Finance and Supply Chain Management came out of the box already being FDA compliant, GxP compliant, which is of course a great advantage. What we did over the past couple of years is we gathered the industry specific requirements by means of also recruiting people coming out of the pharma and life science industry within our Cegeka teams, talking the same language of our customers, and then went on looking on the market, okay, are there any ISV solutions which are closely integrated with Dynamics 365, which can cover these industry specific requirements? We noticed that there were some ISV solutions, but they only partly covered these specific requirements. So that's why we decided to develop our own solution on top of Dynamics 365, which is fully embedded in Dynamics 365. So we followed all of the guidelines presented by Microsoft regarding type of development, security setup, whatever, so that our solution has been approved to be published also on the portal, the Microsoft portal, which is called Microsoft App Source, which proves also that our solution is fully compliant with the guidelines of Microsoft and fully embedded in Dynamics 365. Now, of course, being able to unburden our customers with an always compliant solution is not only about the pure software side of things. It's not only about coding. It's also about delivering them documented processes, making sure that both solution and methodology are being validated. So we have been investing a lot in 4 different domains. And the first domain is, of course, being able to offer an industry-rich, mature solution which is able to cover the industry-specific requirements of a pharma and life science company.
And that's great, Dominic, and also very general. And I think that the question you're on is actually a very good one. I'm going to teach you a little bit on this very broad statements around the product. So can you tell me a little bit about what is this? What is the most important functionalities you have in that package? Where's the focus on development going for you and Cegeka on this? And what do you do to capture that industry-specific contents of the package?
Yeah, what we did is we've translated all of the captured industry-specific requirements into what we call 5 different pillars, which are fully embedded and integrated in Dynamics 365. These 5 pillars, they range from regulatory compliance to low traceability, to pharmaceutical manufacturing, so really manufacturing requirements, up until quality management and inventory and material management. So it's really enriching the standard Dynamics 365 with really industry-specific functionality, which doesn't mean that this functionality was not already in place in Dynamics 365 and the standard, but we took it a step further. Typically, you are thinking about possibilities such as batch disposition codes and traceability. You are talking about weighing and dispensing functionalities. You are talking about the tour and time out of refrigeration, so temperature monitoring. So all of these very specific functionalities for pharma, life science, but also medical device companies, medtech companies, biotech companies.
So all very sophisticated and specific functionalities, which is specifically designed for this industry, obviously. And I think that's a good basis, you know, for doing implementations and also capturing a lot of the process understanding that is needed actually within the ISV. But I'm just assuming, but maybe you can give me a perspective on that as well, Dominic, that more process understanding is probably required to do the actual implementation. So you have a good basis there. How much does that process understanding play in your actual implementations of Dynamics 365 FO alongside with your product there?
It's key. It's key to be able to offer a successful implementation. We have been investing, so not only in this software solution, ISV solution, but we have been mainly investing also in what we call our industry process library. This is a library that consists of about 500 fully documented business processes, which is the result of best practices we built throughout the time. These processes are documented on every single level and going from process domains until individual processes, sub-processes, until the very lowest level, let's call it the business scenario level. We extended the process documentation and description with all kinds of checklists per process, collecting really a comprehensive set of requirements per type of and level of process. And finally, we also visualized all of the process flows in really end-to-end scenarios by translating all of these documented processes in a business process modeling tool, which is called Mavim. So this really means that the entire environment, the end-to-end workflows have been fully documented so that we can really offer to our customers what we call an industry accelerator.
So I think it's safe to say that when you go in through the door at a life science client, you're not starting from scratch, at least. I think that's more than safe to say. And just out of curiosity, how many of these processes would be GXP related, and what kind of industry related business, industry specific business insights do you need to do all of this?
Yeah, so I've just been referring to this industry accelerator with this library, process library. So we fully documented 500 business processes in detail. About 200 of them have been identified as being GXP critical processes. And this allows us to never start a project from scratch. So if we talk to a customer or a new prospect or whatever, there is this framework which is already there. So it's very easy for us to understand and also to check the coverage of the expectations of our customers, their strategic objectives, what do they want to achieve in the future. And after having captured by an assessment their strategic goals they want to achieve, we can confirm quite easily to the customer what is the level and percentage of coverage by our standard solution. So we never start from scratch. We can really accelerate the project implementation by doing that.
And again, coming from the quality and compliance side of things, I know Henrik is going to touch a little bit out on this also on the validation. And this is a bit of maybe it's a nasty question for you, Dominic, but I hear a lot of Cegekas around the world saying, well, we can do this, and I'm sure you can. But the tricky question is always, so what if we were basically performing a GXP or a documentation audit at Cegeka? Would that be offered by you that we could do that in order to check Cegeka's readiness?
Yes, of course, very important question. Now, important to know is we decided to go for a strategy which is based on two levels. So if we are talking about validation, then we are not only talking about a validated solution, software solution, which is GXP compliant, but we also invested a lot in validating our methodology. So the way we implement our project approach, and we made sure that for every single step and phase in a project, there are project deliverables that we offer as output to our customers, these project deliverables are already fully aligned with validation deliverables, which are typically used by an external software validation company such as Epista to do a quality audit and a GXP audit. And this saves also a lot of time when doing a project implementation and making sure that we stay fully aligned. Also when new service updates or new releases are being published by Microsoft.
Thank you, Dominic. It's not often that we hear those types of responses to that specific question, so I'm very pleased to hear that. And also, I'm sure that if we look into the context of what we do on this webinar and trying to investigate the process understanding, the accelerators, I think we have a very good view that Microsoft is providing a platform with standard functionality that has been done under okay circumstances from a life science perspective. I think Dominic talking about the ISV accelerator thing, so focusing even more on best practices and standard functionality specific to life science companies, and then also on the process understanding there, the things you were talking about in Marvin. Yeah, I think it gives a very good picture of 2 of the 4 points we have in the Epista way of thinking when we talk about always compliant.